Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
Welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk About Verticals, a place where secrets are spilled, stories unfold, and the mysterious world of verticals is revealed in all its glory. Behind the scenes, oh yes. Exclusive insights, absolutely. Eccentric characters, you bet. So pull up a chair, pour yourself something suspiciously strong, and prepare for a conversation you didn't know you needed. So welcome to the podcast Let's Talk About Verticals. And now, let's talk. Hello and welcome to my podcast Let's Talk About Verticals. Today we're going back to New York and to a lovely actress, and to be honest, I first get in touch with her as a bad stepmom, as an evil woman, but hopefully she's totally fine to me today, but I'm sure she will be. And I said hello to Tina and Brooke. Welcome to my podcast, Tina.
I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
How's the day so far in New York?
Good. It's very October-like, maybe probably the first or second day. I should say fall-like, but I think of October and I think of fall. So it's getting to be that
Kind of
weather.
rainy?
So,
Or
no, just actually crisp and very bright and sunny and just kind of very like in the 50s. So the temperature
oh, that's
drops,
nice when
right? So it's
everything
not that.
changes the color to the that I love that.
Yeah, me too.
What
Yes.
what time of the year you like most? Spring, summer, autumn, winter? What
I'd
kind of
say
type are you?
I like the colder weather better than the warmer weather. So probably autumn and winter, I would say. Although the snows haven't been so great the last, I don't know, 10 years or so here in the East. They've been okay, but we haven't gotten the kind of snowfall we used to get back in like, say 20 years ago. I
Yeah.
like the cold weather. I mean, sunny is good and I enjoy it, but I don't do that well in really hot weather. I tend to get hot really quickly,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I'm much better off in the fall and the winter, and I do like a good transition, like you were saying, to go from
To
just
slow down
winter
to
to
the rest of the
yeah. You
year
just
to
want to be
slow
cold.
down.
I like to,
Yeah.
that's why I live in a place where there are four seasons, so I really
Yeah.
want to experience them if possible. Yeah.
Huh. Are you the Halloween type? I think in the US Halloween is so big. In Germany it's not really
Yeah, I do
celebrated,
love Halloween. Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, my mother, one of the things that probably had something to do with how I got into theatrics, but she used to love making Halloween costumes. I have three brothers, and she would make Halloween costumes for all of us.
Oh,
And
cool.
and I lived in at the time I was living in Indiana,
Uh-huh.
and in a very pretty rural area. And this particular town that I was living in, there's this tradition. I think it's a Dutch tradition. I'm Dutch ancestry, but where and I could be wrong about this, so correct me if you know and I am wrong, where they put like sand in paper bags and then they put little candles and they line the streets with them. And we had these big winding long streets because there was a lot of distance between the houses, and we would
Hmm.
everyone would do their share from their house to the next house with these bags of sand and candles and whatnot. And anyway, and I just remember, I think she was the one that really engendered my love of
Dressing
costuming,
and
theatrics.
taking some different
Yeah.
roles.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And
Were
she
you the
just
classic princess girly or
No, I
not?
really wasn't. I don't think I ever did I did a like I was a Dutch girl where she took
Yes.
a
That's cool.
like a
A
Clorox
Dutch girl.
bleach bottle, and it was like this plastic bottle and it curled up at the end. And then I had these wooden clogs that she had brought me from her trip
Yeah,
to
wooden clocks are
you know
really traditional
yeah, and I
for the
had my
Dutch
tennis shoes
one.
on, and then I had these clogs on, and literally I was walking for like hours in these clogs. Then one time I was a table where she made like this wooden like construct like table, and then my head was through the center, and then she put like a trash can over my head and then made it a centerpiece, but I could see through the like thing. I know. And another, oh my gosh, she was really inventive, and I think that is
I
how.
love that. These
Yeah,
are the
she was
best
great.
memories, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, and she collected all these wonderful hats and jewelry, and she just loved. And so when she passed away a number of years ago, about 5 years ago, but before she, I remember one day I went to visit her at her house, and she pulls out this big treasure trove of like jewelry, costume jewelry, and like these bags of hats and things. And she said, I want you to have these because I have a theater company. And she said, I want
Mhm.
you to have these for your theater company. And the funny part is, I have worn these hats and this costume jewelry so many times in these
Yeah,
vertical series. Like
but
every
that's
time
great.
I open up the like the costume or wardrobe will call me and they'll say, "Hey, listen, can you," and I like send them photos of all of this jewelry. So I'm so delighted that my mother's creativity and her collecting and all of that has appeared in so many verticals.
Yeah, but that's great. You know,
Yeah.
I have two things from my childhood. It's a pillow, totally worn out pillow, but it was my pillow,
Yeah.
everywhere. I took it everywhere. And I have my very first teddy bear also. He
Oh,
stitched a few
wow.
times because he
Yeah.
got a little bit
Yeah.
hurt, but I still have it. And I don't know why. Every time I moved, the first thing was to make sure that they are still somewhere in a box and keep them because I don't know. It's a time we lived in with great memories. And I don't
Oh,
want to
no,
miss
I
that. I really
understand.
don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
So, if you're the Halloween type, are you also a Christmas lover?
I do love Christmas. I'd say the theatricality, I mean, Christmas is certainly theatrical, but the theatricality of Halloween really interests me because you can go any way with
Hmm.
it. And I think coming from a theater background, I just really like the nature, the theatrics of it. Now, Christmas is clearly got its own thing. I mean, I do love this sort of decorating of it, and I love the winter. And back when I lived in Indiana, we used to get snow out there. So Christmas was always a white Christmas.
Hmm.
There wasn't but then when I moved to the East Coast, again, not so much. Yeah, I do love what I like most about the holidays, I think, is, and I did a Christmas vertical last year at the end of 20, like in October of
What was the
2024.
name of it? Because I'm looking out for really good Christmas verticals.
Oh, it was called We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And I can
Which
send you the
platform?
link.
Do you know which platform?
I want to say Real Shorts, but I could be wrong. I will check. It's Molly Anderson and Noah Fernley is in it.
Oh,
And
I think I saw it then.
you probably, and I just am, I play this. I mean, we had so much fun doing this vertical. I think I want to make sure I'm right. Yes, I was Molly's mom, Doris, and it was one of the first ones, or maybe it was like six or the number 6 or 7 of the ones I did last year. And we had such a blast doing this one.
Did you film
Yeah,
it in New York or in LA?
it was in New Jersey. Yeah, I
Ah,
mean, some of it was shot in New York and some in New Jersey. This was out in a lovely, like in the like mid central New Jersey, where there are just lots of land and just beautiful homes and
mm-hmm.
whatnot. We had so much fun on that one, and just those were some of the first ones I did. So I felt now looking back on it, feel very glad to have been able to work with such good people,
Yeah, yeah.
early on.
No, because I hope that there will some great Christmas verticals this year. I hope
Yeah,
for it.
I looked that one up. We shot it in late September. This actually was this time
Yeah.
last year. And I still laugh when I see the footage of it. I have some of the footage on my reel, on my vertical reel.
What
So
was
yeah.
your first vertical you ever did?
Oh my gosh, let me see. I have to look back. Oh
When
my
did you
gosh.
start? Which year? Last
I
year?
started in I want to say May of 2024. So I came
Okay.
into it a little bit later but then once I did my first one, I think it was in um April or March or
Yeah.
April of 24. Then they just kept, kept on happening
Yeah,
a
like a
lot.
snow, no, like a
Kind of like a
snowball.
snowstorm, yeah, like a snowball. So,
Yeah.
and that pretty much went all the way through, 2024. And then in 2025, I had some interesting opportunity. I went to LA for the first time and worked out there. I shot one in Mexico.
In
And I
Mexico,
still,
which one was shot
yeah,
in Mexico?
Mexico was, oh gosh, this one was with Eric and it's called Seducing Mr. Sterling.
Oh, with
Um,
Kira?
Kira and Eric.
I saw
Um,
that. Okay.
and we shot it in
Mexico.
Mexico, right outside of Guadalajara. It was so much fun, and of course they're just lovely. And it was Purple Light Pictures, and
Hmm.
they're wonderful to work for. So, and then I went out to LA for the first time, which I hadn't ever to shoot a werewolf. When that was a ton of fun. So yeah, most of them have been in New York, New Jersey
Hmm.
area, but I was very, I was very lucky to be able to go out this year. And then I did a theater production in August of this year, so I wasn't able to do as, I had to stop the work there in July, June, July, and
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
rehearsing for a show. So I'm back auditioning again, and um, yeah.
So I still don't know what was your first vertical.
Oh my gosh. I want to make sure I get it right. Hold on. Oh gosh, I don't know. Wait, yeah, I don't even, I am so embarrassed to tell you that I don't even remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not a problem because the title always changes. So,
oh my gosh. I want to say something about oh no. Well, one of the first ones was, um, all right, I'm blanking. I'm totally blanking
ha!
again.
I got
I
you.
have to go back to you did. You got me. I have to go back to my wow. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. They all
Yeah,
have
we will talk.
titles
We
are
will
fairly
talk on, and
similar.
maybe it comes like a
It
flash.
will. I think
Yeah.
it was yes, it was in the hospital and it was here in New York and I was playing the thwarted wife of, some guy who's had a heart attack and I'm running into the hospital and it was one of these. It was one of
Did you?
these.
How many verticals did you so far? Do you know that?
I
Roundabout?
think I'm around 20, maybe at this point, 19, 20, something like that. Yeah.
And what was the reason you came into verticals, or how did you get your first vertical role? Do you even know what
That,
verticals are? Where? When you did your first
well,
one?
I did. It was interesting because a friend of mine was auditioning and she had me as a reader with her on one of the first ones. And so as I was reading for her, I said, are we soap opera here? Are we what, I was trying to get the tone of it right
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
could
yeah,
get
yeah.
the scene right. And she said, no, I think it's pretty straight ahead. I think there was a lot of like guesswork back then, but that was the first one I ever saw was when I was reading for her. And then I started to see them coming through on the breakdowns. And so I
Okay.
started submitting for them and then I got a cast. And then once I got cast by the same company a bunch of times. And then I just sort of started meeting more people and, as these things work and getting to know more people in the vertical world. But I would say I don't know how it is working right today. It seems like there's a whole lot more happening in LA than there is, say, even in New
Mm.
York. Um, and I loved going out to New York. It was quite fun and had never been out there before. And and interesting to see the differences in how production happens and whatnot. And not that there's great differences because I don't think there really
Have
are,
you
but
ever been in Europe for shooting a vertical?
I have not. No,
Or China?
I got asked to go to China at one point, but I couldn't because it was last year during when I was booked for all of these. And
Okay.
and I have a friend over who is in Shanghai right now doing some casting and he's been in touch, but the timing just hasn't worked out for
Fit.
me
Okay.
on
Okay.
that.
But
Yeah.
you're open to go there?
I am. I'd love to go to China and see. He sends me photos all the time. He was he used to cast verticals here in the United States, and so I know him from that. And I love seeing I've never been to China, so I would love to go and just.
Yeah, because Europe is really growing in shooting locations for verticals. There are a lot of people in Turkey this year for shooting
Hmm.
verticals.
Hmm.
On Italy is now very hyping,
Hmm.
and UK, Lithuania, and
Well,
yeah,
it makes sense. The country is so gorgeous, and I've been to Paris and to London, not to shoot verticals, but just to visit. But I haven't been to large swaths of Europe. And the photos that I'm seeing of Molly and people
yeah,
shooting Italy and shooting in, and I have friends that I've worked with that have been over in Turkey. It looks like it looks like a great time and seems like they're really enjoying the people they're working with and whatnot. So I'm glad to see it expanding and I'm glad to see, it could be part travel log, part
yeah,
vertical. I mean, we'd love to see like Mexico was just so beautiful. It made for really gorgeous pictures, you know?
yeah, yeah. I think also maybe there will be one day a shooting in France because the area in France is so beautiful,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I hope
So
so. I'm excited to see. I mean, you know much more about it than I try to watch as many as I can, and I try to see from updates on social media what's happening. But I think you all hold the keys really much more to like sort of the ins and outs of what's actually happening.
yeah, the thing is, right at the moment, no, I started watching verticals in 2023. So
Mm-hmm.
from the very first beginning, but here in Germany, it's not really popular.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I was catched by an Facebook advertising of Real Short, and I tried
Mm-hmm.
to resist 2 months, but then
Mm-hmm. They got you.
I, yeah, I got weak, and I
Yeah,
wanted to know
yeah.
how these episodes end. It was breaking the ice. No,
Yes, yes,
no,
of course.
not. It was not breaking the ice. It was the double life of my billionaire husband with Jared Harper, and I don't know what the
Yeah,
and the
okay.
second one I saw was breaking the ice. And when I started watching verticals, they were mostly shot somewhere in the US.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
when all the new platforms came up, like Drama Pops, I think roundabout shoots 90% in Turkey.
Oh, is that so? Yeah, I've not
Yeah,
worked.
yeah. Mostly of the verticals shot in Istanbul, you find back at Drama Pops. I
Mhm.
saw that, and so with these upcoming platforms, more shows were needed. And right now, I have the feeling that every week they are dropping so many shows.
Yeah.
Normally, when I started watching it, were round about 4, 5 shows per week on all the platforms together. And now, some platforms alone drops 5 shows
Right.
per week. So
Yeah.
it's kind of overloading, and I understand why they have to produce so many new shows
Yeah. Hmm.
because it's kind of overwhelming how many stories are
Yeah. I don't know
published.
how, as a fan, like, you know, you all keep up with it, like it does,
You
even
cannot. You
for me,
cannot.
it does like I've almost hit, I just, because I really started paying attention when I started working on them, right? Which was
Do
like
you
April of
watch
last year.
verticals?
I do watch some, although I honestly just don't. I feel like, I mean, of course, you'd make the time for the things that, but I'm so busy working or trying to get work or
Mm-hmm.
auditioning or doing work or on stage or whatever I'm doing that I feel like my spare time, I don't have as much. And so consequently, I haven't been, particularly in the last, I'd say 2 or 3 months, seen as many you know, as I'm sure, you all. I see them come through and I see them drop and I watch a couple of episodes, but I rarely have the time to go from beginning to end on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And to be honest, right at the moment, there are so many new shows, and every time I get a new ad on Instagram or Facebook, I have the feeling that it's also a new platform. I have
Yes. Yeah.
49 apps at the moment on my handy,
Oh
and
my good Lord.
that's not much. I know a lot of people, they have more than my 49 on their handies.
And
And
how do people, manage all of the cost associated with that?
yeah, the thing is, um I'm not the type of ad watching. You know, you can watch ads and then you can unlock round about 5
Yeah.
episodes per day, and then you have to wait till the next day. I'm not that patient
Yeah.
to
Yeah. I don't
watch
think I would
5
be
ads, 5
either.
episodes,
Yeah.
and then have to come back. I'm the kind one, when I start a vertical, I want to watch it through till the end. So,
Yeah.
and that mostly only works out with the membership.
Mm-hmm.
But first thing, there are some apps where you cannot buy a membership, only coins. And if
Right.
I buy coins to see a show straight, the one show costs me around about 50 euros to watch. And I'm not willing to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally not. So when I started watching verticals and this Facebook ad catched me, I bought a weekly membership on Real Short. And the good thing was, my first membership, I have so many shows to watch because I don't know every of them. And I watched all the shows which were published till then on Real Short. So I was for 4 days really busy watching verticals. But now it is, you know, sometimes on some platforms there are only published 1-2 show maybe per month.
Mm-hmm.
And a weekly membership costs round about 25 euros.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nearly more like a monthly Netflix.
Yes. Right. Mm-hmm.
But I wait for the big platforms like Drama Box, Real Short, and Dreamy Short, and what kind of stuff, until nearly 15 new shows dropped. So that's worthy to pay this 25 euros.
I see.
But-
Yeah. Yeah.
But on some platforms, there is only one show I really badly want to watch. But to pay like 25, 30 euros, I'm not willing. And some platforms offer you special, maybe on Valentine's Day, Black Friday. They reduce their membership cost a bit and stuff like that. Okay, normally you can buy a yearly membership. It's around about 240 euros. It's clearly cheaper than a monthly membership, but I cannot afford 4 or 5 yearly membership. That's more than 1,000 euros. So, kind of difficult. So for me, I'm always a bit struggling because I have some favorite apps. I really liked Candy Jar, for example. In Candy Jar, a yearly membership is 69 euros. So I'm totally fine with 69 euros because it's a membership for the whole year, you know. It's the cheapest. But the verticals on Candy Jar are really good produced and really good storytelling. It's not every time, you know, the same shitty story. Bad stepmom, stepsister, kidnapping, raping,
Right.
hidden billionaire. So shortly said. And so I have a yearly membership on Candy Jar. And VGlue is now really dropping good shows with kind of new storylines and that. So I'm a bit make my priorities to new storylines, because when you watch more than 1 year the vertical stuff, it's always repeating with another cast in the story, and that's kind of boring right now for me.
Sure, yeah.
For me, in the first year, I never stopped watching any show. I always watched from the beginning till the end. But in this year, I really started switching off a show.
Yeah, sure.
When
As you see
I not feel entertained, and for me it's a good sign when I start to take a look how many episodes are left. Then I knew exactly, okay, Michaela, that wouldn't work out to watch till the end,
your
and then
time
I'll
is
stop.
valuable.
So I'm more, I don't know, so I'm not willing to pay so much money. But when I get a membership, I make sure that there are enough shows which have a good chance to entertain me.
Sure.
So
Yeah, that makes sense.
no, it's really expensive, and every time more and more platforms pop up. So that's for the audience, it's really shitty. I would
Yeah,
prefer
yeah,
that there were, I don't know, five to 10 platforms and
right.
that's it. But
Hmm.
right at the moment, Dan Löwenstein told me there are around about 120 apps you can watch verticals.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
So the mathematics of that is that's a lot.
Holy.
A lot of stuff being produced.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure you will have a lot to do in the next years because I'm sure that it's only the beginning from the
Well,
verticals
I
now.
do enjoy working. I do enjoy working on them, and I think it provides a lot of opportunities for an actor to test yourself in a lot of
Yeah.
areas. I do agree with you, though. I don't think I've done one that is a duplicate of another one I've done. Like,
Mhm.
but generally, I mean, yes, for supporting actors, I'm playing somebody's evil stepmom or evil mom or a
Are
good
you
mom.
mostly of the time evil in your
No, I
verticals?
mean I get Queen. I've gotten Queen a couple of times. The benevolent Queen, the good Queen. I've gotten janitor. I've gotten good mom a number of times.
You're a good mom, really?
I've gotten good mom, but the good moms, unfortunately, the good moms that don't figure prominently in the story generally. I
Yeah.
mean, they do. They're there to provide the balance
Yeah,
and to
okay.
the long suffering, whatever, but they're not generally, they don't have as much prominence in the script generally, though. I really had fun playing the queen. I've had a couple of werewolf like soothsayer roles where I'm either,
The witch?
somebody the witch, kind of the good witch though, the witch that solves the like has the potion or solves the
Hmm.
problem, is able to sort of soothsay their way through. I like those roles a lot.
Do you like this fantasy genre?
I do. I very much do. But um, I love that in film as well. The sort of, yeah, I do. I enjoy it. But I like the straight ahead. Give me a good CEO with a too much money, whatever, depending upon the story. Depending upon the story. There are some, I agree with you that I like to see the new. I've auditioned for and seen some new stories that seemed just like I was so glad to, either maybe woman a little bit later in life, not maybe my age, but maybe in their like late 40s or
Yeah.
not late 30s, early 40s, finding romance or finding love. There were some doctor themed
Yeah, and
ones,
strong female lead, not
strong
always
female
this.
leads, right? Yeah, no, that's super helpful. And complicated relationships. There was a physician one that came by, and I just like the storyline of that. Somebody was discovering discovering the latest cure for something, which I found really interesting. So those are really welcome. Um, it is nice to see them come through when it is a platform that you know and are familiar with, because
Mhm.
it's helpful to know who you're working for or working with. But I'm also excited for these new platforms, as you say, that seem to be
Yeah.
releasing interesting, varied
Yeah,
subject
more
matter.
story. I have sometimes the feeling that platforms like Candy Jar or Viglo or whatever's the name are willing to take more kind of risk to
Hmm.
test new
Sure.
kind of stories and not, okay, I understand the normal stories where they know, okay, they are truly selling and they got their numbers. It's a safe boat. But
Sure.
I really like it when a platform is willing to take kind of risk and check
Hmm.
things out, new things out, if they will work out or not. Because otherwise, we have in a year only the same story every time, but sometimes
Yeah.
as a werewolf, sometimes as a vampire, sometimes as a
Yeah, yeah.
difficult.
No, and I'm excited for the people that are writing or want to write these new stories as well,
Yeah,
so that they can, so that we get new and fresh language in
yeah,
it as well.
absolutely.
Sometimes the translation, is is can be, sometimes can be challenging, right? To
Mhm.
just sort of get your head around like what actually, because anything that's translated, if a play is translated from, German to English, or if a
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
we do a lot of Eugenie Ionesco, and, it's translated from the French into, it translation is everything. The translation
Yeah.
is everything, particularly when you're coming into an idiom like the language of a. So it is. I'm excited to see new writers putting out story ideas, and I'm anxious to see if those stories get made, and I'm glad to see the conversation that's happening, and it's a privileged position to be in, where you are a lead and you can speak up, or you can
Yeah.
add your voice to the conversation about like what do we really want, what kinds of equities do we really want in
Yeah.
these stories. I'm excited to watch and follow the people who are speaking up and letting their voices be heard, and also and particularly you all, the fans, and the people that are writing and talking about all these.
Yeah, but I think it's needed because the audience is such a big growing institute in the last, because I've now the feeling that the verticals are now getting more and more known in some countries. And so, okay, for the new audience, the old stories are attractive in the beginning, but there is a time when they also get bored of these old stories, and then they have to come up fresh stories. And I really like that some of the actors also started writing, because normally all the scripts came from China and were translated because it was scripts which went in China so well. And I really like this new kind of inspiration in the stories when the actors write stories, because they know how a vertical is going and what
Yes,
makes
yes,
sense in a vertical. And
right. They've been
so,
doing them. They've been directing
yeah,
them. They've
yeah,
been alongside. Is it Love and Blood? Is that the one that Purple Light produced?
it's
What
Love
was
and
the?
Blood. It was also Campus Rivals from
Yeah.
Tom
Hmm.
Cruise and stuff.
I
Um,
remember. Yeah, I was just gonna say. I remember Mariah talking about that. I believe, like
mhm.
talking about writing and working on that with a number of other people.
Yeah.
But yes, that's exciting.
Or
Is to
Adam
see
Santa
people.
Cruz was lately in Tuscany, and they filmed this new one, Vino. It's not out yet, but they were crowdfunding and they flew over to Tuscany. It's kind of horror, also new genre. And
Interesting.
so I hope that more and more kind of these stories will come to entertain. Verticals for me is entertainment, and if I got bored after 5 episodes because I know exactly from the beginning how the story will end,
Yeah. So that's
difficult.
interesting to me, following like, are there that many new viewers? Obviously, there are coming into the
Yeah.
platform to be able to like absorb the stories that you saw last
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah.
that are still being circulated. So that's really exciting too. But as you say, you got to keep the folks that were here from the beginning, who, like
Yeah.
yourself, who, um,
Yeah, and this year you saw new kind of verticals. Sportive ones came out totally. A lot of sportive ones where only some was tennis, some was hockey, some was
mhm.
baseball, some was,
I saw
the
like there was
sport changes.
the car was Paige Smeltzer, who I've worked with a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
of times,
yeah.
was in racing.
Racing
Mhm.
verticals. Then there came out a lot of cooking verticals with chef
Oh yes, I think I
stories.
did see them. Yeah, yeah.
So
That
you
makes
saw
sense.
there was the next wave of cooking verticals after the
Uh-huh.
sportive verticals. Then there were a lot of new story, the kinky one, the all the BDSM stories.
Yeah, I was in one that I don't think, but it had a little bit of, yeah. I don't know what genre we would put it in, but it definitely was going in that direction. And I heard from a lot of people. I haven't, auditioned for or been in any of those, but yeah, the conversation surrounding. I guess there is, yeah. What do you think about that?
To be honest, I don't like them. I don't watch them
Mm-hmm.
because every time you have a really strict man and the woman always have to be devoted. And I don't like this kind of role play
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
because it's not an equal role play. Then it would be fine.
Yeah,
But the women were always so devoted. I don't like that.
yeah.
I
I've
also
heard
don't
that from
like
quite a
that
few people.
that kind of verticals with the professor student stories.
Yes, yeah, I hear
I'm a
you.
professor at the university,
Yeah, no, I can
and
see
for
why.
me it's hard to believe this kind of stories, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Well, they're
always a
just
male professor and the student is a woman which is devoted. So,
so do you think that like I know there's a lot of discussion about it and productive discussion about it. Do you think that things will change in that regard, or do you think the market is just so
the
um
thing is, when you see the numbers of viewers on Real Truth, for example, on this verticals is really high.
hmm,
People love kind of kinky, spicy, erotic stories.
hmm, sure. Well, look at
People love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like also good made intimacy scenes, if they look real and not played in a kind of. But I don't like this kind of every time devoting woman in these stories.
Mhm.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So for me, there are two kind of people, whether you like it or not.
Uh-huh.
It's
It
nothing
seems like
between.
it. Right, it does seem like it splits down the center.
And for me, as I said, I'm a professor at the university. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
uncomfortable watching these professor student stories.
right. Sure. Yeah.
For me,
No,
it's not.
I would have to agree on the can we just make the story a little more complex so that we have more of an even balance? It does feel like we're in a time and place where,
Yes, exactly. And to be honest, it's such a really unrealistic story. A student and
hmm,
a professor. And then the professor
yeah,
also a billionaire. And, it's kind
right.
of put it the,
There are a lot of
the
billionaires.
typical story in the backgrounds also. And nah,
Yeah.
I would love to see more down to earth stories. There was
Yeah.
kind of shows with this whole online dating thing. Online dating is so popular in
Hmm.
this world. I do not understand why they are not doing more verticals with these stories about online dating, finding each other over the online dating or
Hmm.
stuff like that. More realistic. And for me, it doesn't always have to be in a billionaire.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sort of more um how do I say it? I mean, this isn't necessarily a good comparison, but do you know in America we have the Hallmark Channel, right? Which are just nice stories about,
Hmm.
people getting together and holiday stories, and they tend to be they are generally, I would say, heartwarming,
Yeah.
times than not. And I do think there's a place. I've seen a little bit more of that happening. I haven't watched any of them, but I've heard about scripts, happening in the
Hmm.
vertical world that are sort of more. Not that it needs to be. I just think the story needs to be interesting, and the
Yeah,
characters be
absolutely.
interesting.
Absolutely.
Particularly in today's world, it's just like, can we see some people who just aren't out to like totally take each other down all the time?
Yes.
It's
Every
hard.
time when you see a woman and her husband, the husband is always so dominant, and the woman has to do this and that and do this. I want to see a great female boss in a company, leading a
Yeah.
company, you know, and not always only the secretary
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's certainly plenty of us out there doing things, leading companies, making decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
It's not.
maybe,
It's actual happening in real life that women are taking over companies or in leading roles or something like that. And in the
yeah.
verticals, I think it's always the classic role. The men are the big ones, and the women are they
Yeah.
cannot live without a man because they are not able to survive without a man.
Yeah, and I'm just not, I don't know. Again, there's an age gap there, but it doesn't seem to me like the women I know in their 20s or late 20s or like that doesn't seem to be the story I see in the
Yeah.
world with the people that I work with or
Hmm.
their lives.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but it doesn't seem to be the majority of
Yeah.
what I'm seeing in the world. So that's an interesting it's an interesting place to be in where the stories do they really reflect, you know?
What attracts you doing verticals? What do you like on doing verticals? You know, you told me that you're also playing theater and stuff like that. What do you prefer on playing theater and what do you prefer on the vertical stuff?
Yeah, well, theater is like being on a tight rope out there because, you're in the wings and you go on the stage and you're there until the last show I did, hour and 45 minutes with no intermission. And I think aside from some costume changes, I think I had a number of costume changes, but I was on stage pretty much the whole time. And there's the joy of being able to create the thing each night and the same show will never happen twice. So you're
Hmm.
creating it in combination with the audience. The audience is a huge part of their energy and them and what they give to the stage affects the work.
Yeah.
Um, it's silently, and or if they're more effusive in their but it's also just a living, breathing thing that is, which is not to say that that isn't the case when you're doing film and television, because it is, but it's just divided up into, it's a much different kind of day, like
Hmm.
with theater, you spend a lot of time in the room with people creating this thing by hand. And it is, living, breathing, and it changes every night. It'll be different every night
And
that
you
you do
get
it.
your feedback directly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you get to really work on your instrument a lot. I mean, you
Hmm.
get to really test things out day after day in rehearsal, and you get to test them out in front of an audience, and you get to work on new aspects of your craft, which I really love, which is not to say that you don't do that. Everybody works differently, but I think with what I enjoy about working on verticals is that it is very quick and that you're in there and you've just got to hit the mark, and because you might have one or two or three chances to do the scene, and because you might or might not have met the people that you're working with before
Yeah.
when you get on the set, you're just creating this chemistry with someone that you really don't, might have met just, 20 minutes before you do the scene.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's dangerous in a sense in and of itself because there's so many things you don't know. You just don't know how this person's going to be. You don't know how people are going to react. And then so I like that sort of you're just jumping into the fire kind of way. And
Hmm.
also just you get exposed to just so many new friends, people that you may or may not ever work with again. But
Yeah.
um, I enjoyed that part of it. I feel like I being back on stage reminded me because I've, been working, I came from a theater background that I really do want to make that a part of like the ongoing work that I do because of the way that it challenges your instrument. It
Hmm.
just really is a workout for you in ways that are, very important. But I do love, there's something about, being able to just get a script a couple of days ahead of time and really have to work very quickly to make a character come to life. And it's also trying to make each evil mom or bad mom different than the one before, like how, because they can start to feel similar and it can be similar, but trying to understand the specifics of sort of like what makes this evil mom different than the last one I did is also a challenge that that I really enjoy.
Did you ever finish the vertical and you were surprised how it ends? Because when you get when you're doing the audition, you only get one or two scene, and then
Yes.
you get the completely script right before you start filming, so
Yes.
that it's hard to read it completely through and know what the complete story is. And in the end, because it's all so fast, you are standing there. Okay, that was it. Okay, that was the story now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because it's all shot out of sequence as well. It can be, it's generally, you're
So did
shooting
you
a,
ever have the situation where after filming in vertical, you were a bit surprised how it all worked out or how it
Yes,
ends?
I did. I had a project that I jumped in for someone who was hurt. And so I got the script very like literally the day of, and I had to commit to it that day. So I didn't, and I was doing another project that day, so I didn't have time to like get through the whole script that day.
Yeah, yeah,
I read my parts and I was like, wow, okay, this woman is on fire. She's not like she's really out there, you know? And then so I didn't really have time. And that was a script where I got there to set and there was a lot of physicality and a lot of like fight choreography and a lot of pushing and a lot of shoving and there was a child on set and there was so there were a lot of factors that fed into the story and along the way, it was one of the first ones I had done, and along the way, I just thought, oh gosh, how is this all going to like come together, you know? And I try to, that was a case where I would go to the director and just say, hey, is it okay if, uh, you know, I had some thoughts about the character as to how
hmm
not to make her so quite so evil, but a little less evil and a little more just like not totally like just too selfish, right? Which I
yeah.
guess is a form of evil, but like you take your evil and like there's evil and there's evil, right? So yeah, in that particular case, I think we all worked together because I think there were days where we were like, wow, this is a lot. There's a lot happening here. I talk about, sort of like, you know, imbalance in the
Yeah.
relationship. A lot of imbalance in the relationship, and but the actors were just really the guy that was playing my son on that one. Um, we would often talk about like, oh wow, how do we make this? Like, how can we
Yeah.
do this? There's like, we're not burning in hell. You know what I mean? Really. But yeah, anyway, so yes, there have been, I would say maybe one. Generally, they're going so fast, and and granted, I'm working in a support. So if I'm working 5 days or 4 days, 5 days, 6 days of however many days they're shooting, the leads are there in there every day. So they're
Yeah.
just going. It's just as you well know, just heads are spinning. Um, Working in the supporting way, you get to step back a little bit and just say, you get to see a little bit more
hmm
of the production, right? You get to see
Yeah.
what's happening and how. So it's not as hard. Even the ones where I've worked 6 or 7 days, on one called Lion's Dawn that I worked on that I really enjoyed. I I I still, have the ability to sort of step back and sort of make sense of what's going on along the way. Whereas I think sometimes the leads have to be in a situation where it's just like, you know,
Do you
the number of pages you're doing every day and
would you love to play lead?
um sure. I mean, I certainly play leads on stage all the time in some of the greatest playwrights that have ever had the privilege of saying their language. I don't know that I am a typical. I don't know that in the vertical world you would necessarily find me as a lead. Probably for a number of different reasons. I think one is probably age, and also just I think well. Maybe. I certainly have auditioned for those roles. It's generally queen or it's somebody ruling the empire or something like
hmm
that. So I've had those opportunities. And I don't feel it's for lack of like, you know, m- ability or whatever. I think that um I think that in general I get seen as a supporting character, which is perfectly fine for me. But the
hmm
question that you asked is, would you ever do it? And of course, yes, certainly I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe because there were some verticals. I don't know. There's verticals with marriage after my 40s or what the title were.
yeah,
Where
yeah, yeah.
the
It's like my gray fox I married or
yeah
whatever.
yeah yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
And you
it's
never
not
want to.
always the young leads. That's why
Right.
I'm
And I think
asking.
it's good to be doing that because I do think a lot of the audience, I'm going to guess that's watching is not necessarily in their 20s and 30s, and I don't know whether
Yeah,
they see
absolutely not.
stories.
I think
I mean, they appeal
mostly
to
of
me.
the women who watch verticals are around about between 30 and 50, I think.
Yeah. And I do
because
think,
because the teenagers, they cannot afford it to watch.
right, right. And I think we all love a good story where the woman, I've certainly, um, played in them and auditioned for the ones where, yeah, it's a second, a second chance at life, or the woman is a big, like you said, a big CEO that
Mhm.
ends up maybe not the lead in it, but is playing some prominent role in like helping a younger person to get whatever it is they're looking for. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where they go, and certainly, yeah, of course, I would enjoy doing that. There's when you are playing a lead, certainly whether it's on stage or in anything else, that's why they call it a lead. You are leading you are
Yeah,
leading the cast.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
leading the story and you're leading the rest of the cast in a way. Although that's a little bit of a different, obviously, on stage than it is, when you're working in film and television. But the same rules apply, really. You are
Absolutely. Hmm.
setting the pace.
So, did you ever have a role model for acting?
Oh gosh. I love a lot of actresses, English actresses I would say that there are particular, um, Laura Dern is a particular favorite of mine who I follow, American actress. There's plenty of British actresses Helen Mirren, whose work I love. I, uh, I don't. I think I like all there's different styles of acting that I really
Hmm.
enjoy, but generally the people whose work I follow, it just happens to work out that uh they usually end up having a pretty significant stage background. Like they came from the theater, or and I'm not sure um why that necessarily is. Maybe it's just the training, or the breadth of the training, or the depth of the
Mm.
training, or just the theatricality of what it is, or maybe it's the ability to go back and forth. I'm not sure. I I I wouldn't say there is one person who I mean, certainly there are all the greats
Yeah,
who
who
we
you
can all point
admire
to.
deeply.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I admire so many actors. Like acting is a is an art that I love to watch how people evolve in their careers.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. You can see it also in verticals, the
Uh-huh.
actors from the very first beginning to now, you can
Mhm.
totally see how they improved over and over with more and more verticals.
Mhm.
Also, you can see it in the production case. The first
Mhm.
verticals were so bad, sometimes in sound and cutting and stuff like that. And the quality of the verticals is getting more and more better than from the beginning, because even if it's low budget, it should be produced well to keep an audience for 1 hour to watch it. The
Of
first,
course.
and I remember the first voiceovers. I don't like
Oh,
really
yes.
voiceovers in verticals, but the first ones were so badly.
Yeah, no, I know the one that we shot in Mexico, and I mean the production value is in the ones that I have watched, I have seen them come a long way. But I think what you say is that um you can have good quality and not have a killer budget on things,
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
say. It
Even
is
if
a
it's
lot
fast,
about,
even if it's fast produced, it doesn't mean that the quality has to be bad because of the
yeah.
fast running in
Yeah, the
it.
storytelling, the way the story comes to life, the character
Yeah.
development, those are all things that, and as long I've really worked with some very, really wonderful craftsmen on these verticals, and
Hmm.
I'm excited to watch, where it all goes. And it's providing a lot of work and opportunity for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's totally different to book stuff in horizontals and verticals because there are so many, or a great opportunity for kind of actors to improve and to get their acting skills and stuff like that. It's learning by doing, And for me, it's not always the cast who makes a good vertical. Sometimes you have some actors and actresses, okay, when they are in this vertical, it's normally really good. But
Hmm.
for example, I saw a show, classic one, banquet scene, where the whole vertical, the totally 1 hour was about the question, is it really him? No, he's a fraud. No, we can't believe it.
I
1 hour,
know.
1 hour long.
Oh yeah.
And
I've been
not
in
even a
scenes for
Noah
days on
Fernley
end.
or a Eric Guillemette
Right.
or a Molly Anderson can make this kind of shitty story to a good one. Sorry for that.
Right. Right. Why are we asking
You
the
know,
question?
1 hour won this big question. And I was always wondering, why can a script writer get money with this only one question? I
Yeah,
can
no,
do the scripts like this too.
yeah, no, and even being on the other side of it when you're standing in a banquet seat for 4 or 5 or 6 days, I did one where, I mean,
It
literally
annoys
we
you
were
also, right?
filming. Well, we're all just like, how can this story, sit, we're in the same place. And the thing was, my particular character was called for a lot of days, but I didn't have a huge amount of lines in it. It's just we were all in the scene that
Standing,
long.
all
So we
standing.
literally were there for days and days and days. And I'm like, I just can't wait to see how this is going to come out, because there's just a lot of the same shot
Yeah,
lockdown,
yeah.
So yeah, it's
These
an interesting
banquet
point.
scenes are so
Yes,
and if
no,
it's then only because of the question, I don't know how many
is
times I
he the
was sitting
real
in
one?
front of my handy and was screaming, "Show them your ID!" So that they believe it. Show
Right,
it. What's the
right,
problem?
right. I do think that's so funny when the things that are so obvious, or the Black American Express card comes out, whatever the thing is. And it's like, how are we overlooking the fact that this could be solved in 30 seconds?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah,
that's
a lot.
it's also annoying the stories. They got married and they even don't know each other.
Right, right, right.
One of them went apart for 4 years, come back, they are working in the same company and they don't recognize each other.
Right. There's a wonderful theatrical piece by Eugene Ionesco called The Bald Soprano, and there's a section in the play where, and it's absurd. It's a piece of absurdist theater, and there's a section in the play where the mother, like the father, the husband and the wife are like, just like, you're my wife. I mean, it's like, it's so absurd, and they've been married for years, and they don't,
Yeah,
like, they
that's
didn't know
so
they were married to each other. And I'm so reminded of that a lot of times when
yeah,
we're working on
that's
these
also
scripts.
the
I'm like,
kind of
how is this
ridiculous
happening?
story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I was screaming a lot of times, come on, are you so stupid?
right.
No, you
I
cannot
know.
be
I
so
know.
stupid, please.
Well, you can. And
But then they are so stupid, but even lawyers or doctors in this, no,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
no,
No, I
that
applaud
doesn't
the
fit in any guy. That doesn't fit. Sorry, no.
I know. No, I hear you. It's like you're saying, like, you're a professor and you're, an educator, and you just really don't want to see these. Like, it's like that isn't the way it really works in the real world. And I know that we're not dealing with the real
Yeah,
world in a lot of cases, but
Vertical should tell some kind of fairy tale sometimes, the Cinderella story. I'm
yeah.
totally fine with that. But it's not possible that a woman or a guy has a job as a really well educated lawyer or
Doctor,
professor or
Indian
doctor
chief,
or
yeah.
stuff like that, but then saying so stupid sentences and being so stupid not to recognize the face.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I would think that I would be lost at that point in the story. I mean, if I were watching it, because sometimes when I'm in the middle of the script, I'm like, how do we not know? And they're just like,
Yeah, that's
because we're in vertical
exactly.
land. That's why. I'm like, oh, right, right, right. Yes. Don't make sense of this. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a thing I want to get changed.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm on board with that. Like, I do think we all want to tell, I mean, we live in a complicated world that's getting even more complicated every day. And so
Yeah.
I think that, like, yes, it's nice to escape, and it's nice to have like simple stories that are just two people that like
Yeah,
care
and
about each
great
other. Or
entertainment.
yeah, just as you say, it's entertainment. We're just trying to
Yeah.
like give people something lovely to do, which doesn't mean the stories can't be complicated or can't have complex emotions, but you're right. When very obvious things are happening, it just requires the
And they're
viewer
so
and
stupid people. Oh,
yeah,
come on.
you're like, what,
When
how
you
did
are
we get?
always so, no, this cannot, no, they
Yes.
cannot be so stupid, please.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So that's kind of story killer for me to watch
Yeah,
it.
that makes perfect sense. Yeah, we want to be treated as though we are intelligent human beings that can follow like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
complicated relationship. Yeah.
So that's, yeah, we will see where this will end. Hopefully in the
Yeah.
right
Well,
way.
I'm very, as I said, I give a lot of credit to all of the fans, the people, like yourself that are sort of telling, letting the stories be told of the people that are making the work, and also
Mm,
keeping the conversation going about
yeah.
what could be done to make them better for both, mostly for the people who are watching them, because you're who are funding it, making it possible,
Yeah,
but
we
also
are
the people
paying
that are
for it,
doing
and
them.
it's not less money. We are paying for that. So
Right.
I think we can expect that we are not treated as a dumb person.
I would absolutely 300% agree. You are footing the bill for them in a lot of
Yeah,
cases. And
yeah.
so you
And
have
that's the reason why I also do episodes with fans, because we
mhm.
are talking openly and honestly what's no goes for the fans in the verticals, what attracts them to watch verticals, what annoys them in verticals, like the banquet scene stuff, humiliation, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you talk with fans, it's really mostly similar. Everyone
Hmm.
is so tired of this banquet scene stuff, of this raping, kidnapping, stepmom, stepsister stuff. There are so many people overloaded with these stories.
Hmm. Well,
But
that's why the conversation's important. That's why it's good that you're
yeah,
all talking
exactly.
about it and
That's
that you're
why
putting
we
it out
should do
there.
this.
No,
Maybe
that's
I'm not sure if the platforms are giving a cent on that, because as long as that they get their numbers, they are totally fine by doing that. But we will see. Maybe,
I don't know. I think the world is opening itself up to, I mean, like we are seeing that consumers and people that, at least here, I mean, certainly around the world, but here in America, like it is, people have buying power and they have
yeah,
the ability to, and I'm not saying that, listen, if whoever's footing the bill deserves to sort of do the stories that they want to tell, but I also think listening to your audience is a really, really important part of doing business.
yeah. That's the reason why I started this podcast, because I also speak to directors and stuff like that. So I want to get this whole picture of the vertical scene before the
Yeah.
cameras, behind the cameras, behind the handies watching it. And yeah, we will see. We will see. So at the end of every episode, I'm asking a 5 question quickie. And I want to start with the first question. What's your favorite dish? What kind of food do you like?
Oh gosh. My favorite dish. Pizza.
Oh, I got one this evening. Pizza.
You did? I
Yeah.
mean, I would say it's my go-to comfort food. I live near the Italian market, so I have access,
Yeah, sometimes it's only need a pizza.
there's nothing like, so that's, I mean, I like so many foods, but I would say when a pizza is required, a pizza is the only thing that
Okay,
will do
big
it.
question. Pineapples on the pizza or not?
Oh, I absolutely would eat pineapple on a pizza.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
No, don't do it.
No!
I mean, I don't do it regularly, but I have like a ham and with pineapple, because I like that the
Yeah,
salty
so and sweet combination.
tangy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not one I do
Oh,
mostly.
come on. Then you could
Mostly,
never go filming in Italy. Or
oh
even you
no,
have
well,
to
I
tell
wouldn't dare.
you have to tell them that you don't
I
like
wouldn't. No,
pineapples
because
on
then
pizza.
they'll would be very mad at me, I'm sure. But
Yes.
yeah, but no,
Totally.
it's not one I go for like routinely, but I wouldn't if I was really hungry and a pizza was the only thing that was going to do
Yeah.
it, I wouldn't turn it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't like that.
Sorry. We were doing so good, and
Yeah,
then
until now. Until
until now,
now.
you're done. You're done.
Yeah, I'm totally done. No.
I will never watch you in another room.
You've had a lot of plus points, but now they are all gone, Tina. Sorry for that.
I will never watch you again.
It could have been a nice episode, but no. Totally
Can I
no.
take it back? I'll just
Too
change
late
it all
for that.
together,
Too
and I'll
late
say
for
like
that.
bologna or something. I don't know. No.
You have to say
No, I
chocolate
don't
ice
eat
cream.
bologna.
Chocolate ice cream always
Oh, well,
works
ice
as an
cream.
answer.
That was right. That was up there too. I almost did ice cream today, and then I was like, no. You didn't go to the gym today, so don't do ice cream today. But I do love ice cream. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but it's the Christmas time is coming, and I love to bake Christmas cookies. I'm a huge
Oh
cookie
yeah,
fan. Oh, come
yeah.
on.
Cookies are.
That will be a very hard time with this all kind of stuff cookie.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's
yeah. That's what
okay.
the holidays are good for.
Yeah, it's good for the nerves, you know.
Yeah.
So
No,
why
I
not?
listen. Yeah, you have to
Mhm.
eat what you like.
Yeah, absolutely. You only live once, so
Do
what's
it.
it? What's your favorite film?
Oh my gosh.
Do
Oh,
you
that's
have
such a
an
hard one.
evergreen or?
Well, I don't have one that I would go back to. I am a very big Wes Anderson fan,
Mhm.
American filmmaker. I loved the Grand Budapest Hotel that he did. I wouldn't, I don't have one film that I absolutely like watch over and over and over again. Um, I have, yeah, I don't have a favorite
Yeah.
film. I just don't. I don't. I mean, I love all genres. I don't love all genres, but I love horror. I do watch a lot of horror.
No. Uh-uh.
Um, yeah, no, not a horror fan. I
No,
mean, I do look
you
away.
know the thing is, I live alone in the house,
Hmm.
and if I watch a horror movie, I'm not able to sleep because I live in an
Yeah.
old house, you know, where all the wood and so it's every time
Hmm.
everywhere is some kind of noises in the house.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. I live alone too, and I was broken into a
I
couple of years
freak
ago.
so out when I'm
Yeah.
watching a horror movie and I have to go alone to bed and what was that?
Yeah.
What was that? What was that? No,
Yeah.
no,
No, I
no.
understand. You got to be careful how and when and all of
Even if
that.
I
But
have two dogs, but I
yeah.
got a little bit panic when I watch it. No horror,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. I like all kinds of things. I do. That's not a great answer to your question. You should have one that is like your favorite film, but I
No,
don't.
no. Sometimes you know, some people have exactly one film because they have so great emotions about this
I
film,
loved
watching it
did you see
or.
Phantom Thread? Did you see
Mm-mm,
Phantom Thread? I really loved that film. But I would say I watch a lot of independent film and a
mhm.
lot of smaller and um see a lot of really interesting work there
Yeah,
as well.
it's
So,
great. Oh,
yeah.
ever to be honest. What's your favorite song
Oh, good heavens. Oh, these are so
or a
hard. I don't
music who
remember
puts you
anything.
always in a good mood?
Oh, in a good mood. I don't know. I love jazz a lot. So I'm a
Okay.
very big fan of the old 60s, and Miles Davis is a favorite of mine. John Coltrane. Um a Kind of Blue,
Jazz,
which is
that's
a famous, yeah,
great.
I love jazz.
Jazz music is
I like
great.
classical as well. I don't have a favorite song, but jazz always puts me in a very
Yeah,
creative sort of.
jazz is really great style. So when anyone is asking you which vertical of yours I should definitely have watched, what would it be?
Oh, good heavens. I don't know. Um,
Or which vertical you're very proud of you did?
um, I oh gosh, I enjoyed very much working on Lion's Dawn. That one I worked with Hunter Cole on.
Hmm.
I liked that because the character. I liked Cynthia. I liked the character that she was. I played his mother, and I was fighting. Now, why I
The
didn't know where
mother
my
of
missing,
Hunter Cole. That fits great.
yeah, where I was like, my son went missing for a whole lot of
No,
time.
because
I'm not
because
sure like where. I knew
oh,
he was,
I saw this one.
yeah, he was in a wheelchair, and then he,
Yeah, he was
yeah, he was,
disabled, and then
yes,
his
yes,
girlfriend, the parents were poor, and his girlfriend
yes,
was caring so much for him. Yeah, okay. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I know which
I
one. I saw
I
that one.
liked that one. I liked I have really honestly enjoyed every one I've worked on, and it's hard for me to evaluate like my work in the context of it. I mean, I can look at something and say, okay, I feel like you captured that person pretty well. I liked We Wish You a Merry Christmas. I enjoyed working on it. I had, but I can't think of one that I have not enjoyed working on. Um,
That's a good sign.
yeah, and the werewolf ones, I very much, I'm trying to think. When was that one? I enjoyed working on Seducing Mr. Sterling. My Miracle Luna, I enjoyed working on. That's the one I did in LA. I played sort of a, yeah, yeah, sort of a bad mom slash,
Bad mom as
voyeur,
always.
I don't know, in the other realm kind of world. Yeah. I don't know. I try to, I go in and try to bring the character to life, and I walk away, and generally I I would say on for the most part I feel, glad to have had the experience.
Yeah, but that's great. So you really love your job. So that's good.
I
Last
do.
question. What kind of genre you want to see more in verticals? Maybe new ones?
Oh, what kind of genre? Um, I don't know. I do love and I don't know, you know much better than I about how many of them there are out there. I do like romantic comedy, and I think this is a
Not so
great
much.
from them. I mean, I would like to see more suspense, like mystery.
Oh,
Just a good
yes.
mystery, like a good English, I'm saying English,
Miss
like
Marple.
London
Kind of
Fog,
Miss
Miss Marple.
Marple. Yeah.
Exactly.
With a good
I
female
play,
lead. With a
what's
strong
that?
female, with a
Well, yeah,
great female detective lead.
and there's a lot of English great female detective leads all over
Yeah.
the place that are, and I do watch a lot of BBC and a lot of, detective drama. So I would like to see more of that.
I would like to see more comedy.
More comedy, yeah.
Or
Like bring on the
a
comedy.
parody about verticals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. An
You
absurd
know, a
parody about
banquet
vertical.
scene,
Because the story,
and
can I
then
tell you that I've told Hunter a million times we need to be doing, and this is, I'm sure millions of other people have thought this too. I was like, the real film here is us filming this. You do realize
yeah, yeah.
it's being so ridiculous, or
Or
trying to,
something
like,
like that. Someone
I've
entered the banquet hall and said, "Wait, it's my time now. I have to shine now. It's my
yeah.
time." So kind of parody of this whole banquet scene. Shitty.
Yeah, and like the right, the yes, yeah, absolutely. No, I think
I
that the
would love to
parody
see
of
that.
it
Or
needs to
maybe
be
you see
done.
them raising their hand. I will slap you now. I really will slap you now.
Yeah,
Really, I will do that.
really.
Something like that.
Yes. Yeah, I do love I forget who it was talking about like what was the most slaps they ever did in one of these. And I think, she just talked about like just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it just get so like there were times working with Hunter, because I worked on him quite a few with him, where we were just like laughing so hard just right prior to the take. And I was like, here's the scene. Not that the scene that we didn't lay down wasn't like worthy, but like the behind the scenes is hilarious, and that's
Yeah,
what all the outtakes are for. And we do see that. But I do think the farce, not the farce, but the parody of it would be
that
great
was
fun.
so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Or stuff like that. This bad stepmom, bad stepdaughter duo, where the stepmom mom comes to the bad stepdaughter at one time and said, "You are not my daughter. I'm sorry for that." I think it would be nice, but no, if you are that evil, no, I don't want to have you as my daughter. I'm out of fear, some stuff like that. That would be so
some
great.
twists and turns. But I think I do think the mystery genre is a good one
The
because
mystery would be
it
very,
could really, you've got so many
and you
great
can
ones.
do it as a serial.
Yeah, absolutely. And recurring characters, you could start to really develop a series the way they do in a lot
Yeah,
of other
absolutely. I think that's
mystery
more
shows.
needed in verticals.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that whole. I think mysteries are so interesting because can just really pull you in, and then
Yeah, and
I
it's
love 1950s noir film too as well. So
yeah,
that's
and the thing is, if it's a mystery, the audience keeps very interested. Who's the murderer? Who's
right,
this?
right,
So it's kind of
yeah.
more attracting the audience also,
Yeah.
I think.
I also love the fact that in mysteries, one of the reasons I love watching a good British mystery is that, well, just the legacy of just the craft and acting and whatnot. I just love all of the characters that come on board, and there's so many characters that come in
Hmm.
and out and have, and they're all just equally brilliant. That's one of the things I love is that you have you have so many players in there,
Yeah,
and they're all just generally so well
and
crafted.
everyone is kind of unique and is
Yeah,
needed to make a
exactly.
good
Very,
story.
very well
They're a big
characterized.
puzzle. Every one is needed to make this story good in the end.
Yes.
That's kind of I like to see.
Yeah.
We will see
I
where
hope so.
where the vertical world goes. Maybe we will do a chat again in 1 year or 2 year, and it's totally changed.
I know. Well,
Who
thank you so
knows?
much for your
Thank you
dedication
for your
to it,
time,
your
Tina.
knowledge. Oh, it's been my pleasure. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Really,
Despite the
really.
pineapple, despite all of that.
Yeah, I will cut that out. Okay, so
I know. Yeah.
no one will hear it.
No, no one will ever know.
So that's a
Yes,
secret between you and me.
you and I. Well, thank you for having me.
The
I feel very
pineapple
privileged.
for pa.
I'm gonna go out and have one right now. I'm gonna walk
Yeah,
up the street and get a slice.
yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Why not?
Listen, good luck with everything, and
Thank you very much.
oh, you're quite
It was a
welcome.
pleasure. I hope you're getting back to the verticals soon
I am.
to
Yeah,
see you
we'll
in
see. I'll
kind
let
of
you
new
know what.
stuff. Yeah,
Yes, new
absolutely.
things. I mean, taking a little bit of a break was nice for me.
Yeah, I think so.
Just to get back on the stage. But I'm excited to be auditioning, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we will see. So thank you, Tina. Have a
You're
nice
welcome.
day and a great
Yes.
weekend.
Good luck. You
See
too. Good
you.
luck with everything. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye. This is a wrap on this episode, and I hope you tune in again.